Phoenix Wright, GTA, and all those Telltale CSI games have given the gamers of the world all the professional education they need to have their say in the Epic Games vs. Apple trial. That's just a fact. So with me on my legal counsel is Joe.
Hello, I am here to give advice on legal things.
Ben.
Hello, it's me, and I'm all for Apple.
Tim.
Hi, I'm Tim, and I'm the opposite. Epic is epic.
And I'm your judge, Luke, and you're listening to the Pod Players Podcast.
I don't know what role I'm playing. Maybe I'm a jury. No, I don't know.
We can get to that in a bit, but I wanted to ask you a question. You know, if you've listened to last month's podcast, you would have known that we are experts in specific fields in games. But my question to all of you is, what would you like to be an expert in, but you never got around to, you didn't want to play it, or maybe you feel a bit left out?
Ooh.
I have a good answer to that already. It's always been Dwarf Fortress. I want to play that game.
Yeah.
I can't figure it out. I literally, every time I download it, I'm like, everything is just a keybind. You have to know what all the keys are, and then you actually have to know the mechanics of the game. I have one of my experiences playing it is I went on the adventure mode. You just play as one dwarf. I found a dog, and I started grappling it with an octopus sandal. I grappled its eyeball with the sandal, and
Oh my God.
I spat on it, and then it killed me.
I have never played this game, so I have no idea what this game is, but just hearing that was magical.
It's like I think it's made by one guy. And it's quite an
It's
old
a
game.
couple of guys, they're like brothers, I think.
And like you can just sort of, there's just a lot to it. You probably do a better job explaining it, Tim.
It's literally like especially they spend all this time just on the mechanics and the physics of it all. It's got full like personality systems, like chemistry systems, biology systems, everything. But it's all like ASCII art, so your character is just an @ symbol and of whatever it is. I can't quite remember.
Now.
They are making a version with sprites now. I don't know
They
if
are
it's gonna
doing
be
that. They're
as
putting it on
in-depth.
Steam, but there's no announcement. They're saying they're doing it, but
Dwarf Fortress is free though, I think. Is that right?
yeah, it's free.
Yeah. So you can really get stuck into it, but then you just have to be big brain to understand it. I've tried it before as well, and I couldn't get it.
Nah.
What's the
Too
main
difficult.
like? So are you just making a fortress and then it's just got?
Yeah, it's like a
million-
survival thing. Like eventually your dwarves will die from one reason or another, but try and
Right.
keep them going as
I
long
was
as
gonna say-
possible.
From the name, it sounded like a tower defense or something.
It's like a simulation thing. It's like a Sims for nerds.
But just with like a ridiculous amount of mechanics and things.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
So
Well, yeah,
there's
I'll
like
be-
a
I'll be-
role-playing aspect to it.
I'll be useless at that, because I was going to say that it's not really, I suppose it's not really a video game, but I tried D&D out for, like, over the COVID period last year for, I think it must have been about two or 3 months. We had like a weekly video call, we played D&D, and I got to say, like, by the 4th week, I was already like, I don't know
We
if I
should
can
play
get
it,
into this.
man. You should play it with us. We would have.
Yeah, I know you guys played it. I'll play it. That was the first time I played it, so maybe it was like the wrong group of people. I don't know, but
You can definitely get the wrong group of people for it.
Well,
It depends on
we
how
started
anal you want
out.
to be about it.
This is it, because we started out and it wasn't. We was playing it quite casually and it was all right. Then, like, as we got further into it, we were all sort of like, we should probably try and get like deeper into it, I suppose. And then it got to a point where I was just like, it got a bit too much. Like, I remember one point, one of the guys I was playing with, he was in the shop, and I'm not even joking, he was buying stuff for like 40 minutes. And I was
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't
You have to
say
get
a
used to
single
that.
thing. Yeah, I was there like this, I was like, fucking Christ.
I think that's the one thing I don't like about D&D is that, like, because you can pretty much do anything, sometimes it does feel like when I was a player playing it, I was like sitting there, you know, waiting for most of the time Denzel to do some fucking dumb shit. It'll take like 40 minutes or whatever. But then when I was DMing as well, like, I was thinking like, oh fuck, I've been like maybe Tim would be doing something really cool, and I'm like, oh, this is fun. But then like,
Yeah.
you know, like Luke's not had a chance to do something, so that it's, you know,
Sometimes,
It's
sometimes
hard.
you get a moment to shine, and it's like, this is really cool. But other times, it's just like you literally don't have anything to.
Yeah. I think
contribute.
sometimes I feel like, I suppose in a way like a video game, it's like sometimes, you know, when you feel like you've done something clever in a video game, and then like it rewards you, and you're like, cool, that feels good. And like when we're playing D&D, our dungeon master, sometimes he would like, I'll do something, I was like, oh, this is thinking outside the box, this is quite smart, and he just wouldn't reward me for it, and I was like,
right.
why, you know?
I think that's because there's no like. That took a while for me to kind of click with, because I was like, when I was playing D&D, when Luke was DMing, I was like, oh, I've got high charisma, so that means I can talk my way out of any situation because I've got this high stat.
Yeah.
But like, it's not. It doesn't really
the way
have
it
that,
works.
Yeah, it's not like Skyrim.
Yeah.
Where, you know, you just like, oh, you're 100 in lockpick, and now you can just, or 100 in stealth, and you can just crouch and disappear. It's just not.
Yeah.
You know.
But then it leads to interesting situations, because if you're overly confident in this thing and it goes wrong, then there's like this extra like added like what happens now, and that's what video games don't do. They just go, get out your swords and then you fight. That's it.
Yeah.
D&D is annoying though, because you'll have that, but suddenly just through sheer luck, someone who's terrible at something will be way better at your speciality, and then you're just left doing nothing. You literally can't do anything because you're just bad on the rolls today.
Yeah.
We were playing this Warhammer Dungeons and Dragons thing that Guy was playing us through. Sorry, I said that weird. Guy was running a Warhammer campaign, right? And it's a role playing game, basically the same thing. And me, Tim, and his two mates were playing it, and we like captured this guy. Like it was just a random character. And we sort of like basically imprisoned him and made him like drive us around and stuff like that. And, like,
and then we murdered him and stole his car.
Yeah. And like some guy was like, "What are you doing with this guy?" We're like, "Oh, we'll chat to him. You know, what's he about? You know, what's he?" It was just, I like that stuff when it just gets kind of silly and it's fun.
That's when I liked it the most. That was when we first started playing it, and it was kind of silly. And then I don't know how you guys do it, but it got to a point where our dungeon master didn't really have time to like continue the story too much, so we had to look like online for inspiration or just like take stuff from it.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard being a DM.
Yeah, I didn't. Oh no, I didn't envy him at all. I appreciated like, you know, the fact he put in effort for us to be able to play every week. But,
sometimes you just gotta wing it. You can't just take everything off a book.
I've had it where
sometimes they might do it.
Winging it is better than when I spend hours doing it, and then I try and wing it again. It doesn't work the same way, and it's
sometimes it's magic.
It's about being ready. So if you have a lot of things planned out, but you don't have like a set order in which you think that they'll happen, obviously they might not happen that way. If you just have loads of things ready, like if you have already figured out what every place in like shop is in this town you're going to, then it's very interesting for the players to go, I'm just going to open this door and see where it leads to.
Yeah.
We should do D&D. We should maybe do one before the next podcast, and
I'll be up for it, definitely.
You know, see if you've reevaluated your opinion and maybe it stayed the same. Something like that.
Well, the only thing I'll let you talk about your one in a minute, Joe. But the last thing I was going to say about it was I think a big thing from it was combat. Because once we got into combat, and it wasn't too bad for me because I was like the wizard or what have you. So like mine was interesting enough. I was fine. But I remember our DM was getting pretty annoyed because one of the guys we were playing with was, I think he was a thief or something, and he had a certain skill that would let him like escape any combat scenario.
Oh really?
But like this is before we looked into it properly. So like it was because he had this skill that at the time we thought was overpowered. The DM really struggled to like make any obstacles for him because like he could just be like, well, I've got the skill and it lets me out of any situation, and it was like, oh fuck's sake. And that's when we had to start looking deeper into it so that we could limit ourselves more to make things more interesting. But it got to a point where like we made it too limited, so it got a bit. Yeah.
It's mostly just like misinterpreting the rules because we did that. I think Joe had this ridiculous character where he could charge around and attack four enemies in a row. Like,
we completely misinterpreted it. I think it was something like you use your action to charge. And then you use your bonus action to hit someone. But I read it as like you charge and then you get a bonus action. So I was like, oh, I can
charge again,
charge at someone, and then basically attack them again. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. But yeah, then it wasn't until I think we played with a guy who was a bit more clued up with it. He was like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's just not what. And I was like, oh. This whole time I was thinking, yeah, I'm slick at this game, you know. It can be like that.
Yeah.
Because if you had a rule about disengaging, that literally just means you can get out of an enemy's like just hit range. It doesn't mean you could leave combat all entirety.
Yeah, I think it was definitely something where like we had to say no, it doesn't mean this, it means this instead, and he was like, oh, and then yeah, so I mean it made it better for the DM, but then obviously as a player you're like, fuck's sake.
Yeah, this was fun, but no.
Yeah. What was you going to say, Joe? For your what do you want to be good at that you couldn't quite get there?
The first thing that came to my mind when Luke said it was something like Melee or like Guilty Gear or Tekken. Just because like especially Melee is such an old game at this point, and like it's hard to jump into it and be like, oh, I've got to learn this, I've got to learn this, got to figure out how to play, got to learn this. It gets a bit much. But I think at the same time, I've never quite clicked with Melee as an example to like to think that I would enjoy it if I played it that much to get that good at it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
And the same with like Guilty Gear and stuff, and even in like Smash 4 and Smash Ultimate, like you always think, oh, if only I was like really good at this, then I could have way more fun. But then like if you're not having fun when you're losing sort of thing, you're probably not going to have too much fun when you're like super good at it, right? Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. So maybe that's
Sorry, I was going to say, I think with fighting games especially, is that, for me anyway, is that, like, if I really want to get good at it, I'll need to, like, commit myself to like, really, really want to play it. Because, like, if I play it, like, if I want to get good for casual reasons, it gets to a point where I'm like, well, I won't bother anymore, because I don't feel like I want to, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to commit that much because you're not going to go fully into it.
I'm trying to think what else... Maybe, I don't know. Because most of the time with games, like, if I like it, I'll stick with it for quite a while, I guess.
Yeah, you are like that, yeah.
I like to feel like, with any competitive game, I've kind of stuck with it to a point until I get bored, really, or annoyed.
Yeah.
Which is more likely option. But, like, I guess single-player games, I'm trying to think of something like Dwarf Fortress and D&D, but I don't really know. So I guess Melee would probably be my option. Sorry,
I had a couple thoughts on it. One of them being, speaking of like D&D and Dwarf Fortress, it was, if you asked me 10 years ago, it'd probably be like World of Warcraft, because I didn't understand it. I just really, I couldn't put my head around it. But I think I get it now, but I don't, I mean, I think I might enjoy it if I played it, but I don't have the time for it. There's no point of me opening
I think about that, like, if you, after school, like, it would be a good game for that, like, you just jump in and play it for hours.
RuneScape was that game for me. It was like baby's World of Warcraft.
Yeah. But then
you look back on RuneScape and it fucking sucks. Sorry, Luke, you carry on.
I didn't know what you just said. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. And then the other game was Final Fantasy VII. Because I feel like I'm missing out, but also I feel like it will be overhyped. So I haven't tried it because, I haven't wanted to. I mean, I wanted to, so I'm like on the fence about it still.
I think
I recommend it. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've talked about it before, but it's when I play older games like that, I sort of look at it from a historical point of view. Like I don't really judge it by like today's merits, if you get me. Like I'll play it and think I'll like almost imagine myself in 1997 when it came out and just try and enjoy it for what it was at the time. And I still really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good game.
I kind of like. Sorry, it sounds weird, but I kind of picture myself as like someone I know who's enjoyed it, right?
Yeah.
So like, even if it's someone like I don't know, someone from BSS years ago who I haven't spoke to in about 20 years, I'll picture them as a kid loving the game and kind of almost like, like become them for just a little moment when I'm playing it, thinking, this is the game they played and that's developed from that. And there's a kind of a fun lens with that, right?
Well, I guess that I'm worried that I wouldn't like it. Like, going back and playing the original Metal Gear Solid, I've done that now. And at the time, I was like, oh no, this is a bit hard.
Yeah.
But now I really appreciate it. But then I'd have to, because I don't really like turn-based games. But then they say, when I was growing up, they said this was the best game of all time. Like, I don't know about you lot, but that was saying this is the best game. And I bought Kingdom Hearts because I thought it would be easier to get into because of the combat system, because I don't like turn-based. So I bought that and I thought, oh, this is really good, and maybe I'll try out a different Final Fantasy game. And I tried out 13 and it was like, oh, this has music and graphics. But yeah, I mean, maybe I'll give it a shot. I haven't played the remake, but I don't play my PS4, so
that was something that that was a big reason why I played Final Fantasy VII in the first place, because I wanted to play a Final Fantasy game, because I never played one before, but I didn't want to play one of. I don't not like action combat, but I heard the later Final Fantasies were a bit more mixed in reception, whereas I know the single digit games, apart from 8, I'd say, are all like universally said to be pretty good still. So
I think fueling the fact that I think I won't like it is that when I was in college, I had a friend who said that the movie Advent Children was the best movie ever made, without being nothing to do with video game movies or the fact it was tied into Final Fantasy. It was the best movie ever made. And let me borrow it, and it was not the best movie ever made. I'll tell you that.
I think I remember you saying this in another podcast, but I do, yeah. I do remember you saying that though. About this.
It gives me another opportunity to say that film fucking sucks. And I watched it directly after playing Final Fantasy VII, and I loved the game. I thought it was great. And the movie, it's goddamn, it's and I watched the good version, quote unquote. I was like, oh, this is the everyone's like, this is the director's cut, they improved some things. Did they It's fucking terrible. From start to finish, it's just bad.
There's like a million Final Fantasy movies though in there. There's quite
I think there's a few, I think.
Yeah. It's weird how they do that with some RPG series, because they did it with Tales as well, like Tales of. There's a crap ton of like anime and films from that series.
Well, it's a lot of Japanese games, isn't it? Because Resident Evil has all their CGI movies.
Yeah,
There's a new one coming out on Netflix. It might be out now. I'm not sure. It's weird that the new games 7 and 8 are trying to move away kind of from old Resident Evil, but then they still release a movie with all the old characters being like, oh, action star, craziness, yeah.
Did anyone play the Resident Evil 8 demo?
No.
I think the game's out now, isn't it?
Yeah. Is it?
I'm watching gameplay.
Mark's been playing it.
I've heard it's really good.
It seems like
the thing is, I heard. Sorry, Luke.
I was going to say, it just seems like a mix of all of the good Resident Evil games, but without being tied into anything, because it's like 7's action. No, sorry, not 7, sorry. 4's action with like hints of 1 with like the castle and the manor-y sort of thing. Yeah. And it's got 7's gunplay and not got any multiplayer though. No 6 and 5 references there.
Yeah.
All the good games have been like propped up gameplay wise, not by story.
I've heard a lot of good things about it, if I'm being honest. But I know like 7 was like a big return to form for the series. So.
Well, I think it wasn't a return. I think it was just a new thing. I mean, return as in like that they could make some money off of this and people like it. But
I think that's what I meant.
It's like it's entirely. It has some of the aspects, but it's an entirely new sort of experience. It feels very mixed with other things that were out at the time, like Outlast and PT.
Yeah.
Capcom's made an incredible comeback, hasn't it? Like, they were just releasing hit after hit after hit. And you were playing Monster Hunter Rise, weren't you, Ben?
Yeah, I need to get back to that actually, because I mean I've been pretty busy recently because I started a new job, so I haven't had much time to play many games, but. No, I was really enjoying Monster Hunter Rise, and I think they announced that Ace Attorney Chronicles game.
Yeah, they're re-releasing. Well, they're releasing what was only in Japan on 3DS.
Yeah, and I'm super excited for that because I really enjoy. I got the trilogy, on the Switch, the HD trilogy. Yeah, I played that and I absolutely loved it. So like, it made me really want to play the others.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I haven't played any of the. I think it's called like the Great Ace Attorney, the one that's set in like a few hundred years ago.
Yeah, because it's like his ancestor or something, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, I've heard they're good, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's probably like one of my few games that I'm looking forward to this year, because I think we said last time, but not too much going out. So
yeah,
I didn't realize that Phoenix Wright was a trilogy. I mean, the original like. DS ones were a trilogy, is that right?
Yeah.
Because I just thought it was like these massive amount of games that were like 10 of them on DS or something. But I just heard the other day that it's a trilogy. We play them in order and then you get the story.
I'll tell you what it was. It was one of those games where for some reason I'd always see. You know what? Like when the DS was like new, it was always the games I saw like adverts for on TV. Like it just seemed like there was so many of them. And then obviously when I look back and there's like 6, I think.
I think. Wasn't it wrong? I could be wrong here, but wasn't it they were all GBA first, and then they then
The
came to
first,
the
the
DS
first game
later.
was, I think.
So-
the first ever Ace Attorney was on
If you
there,
think
GBA.
about it, like, you got the GBA, then you got DS games, then you got, like, them being imported and stuff from Japan or whatever. Then there's
Yeah.
the other fella, what's he called? Fucking, like
Miles
yeah.
Edgeworth.
No, the little
Apollo
fella.
Justice.
Apollo Justice, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you got to think, like, just a franchise, like, it's kind of always, and also it's been re-released
Yeah.
on phones and God knows what else.
I-
So it's always in your brain. You know what I mean?
I
It's
had
not-
those games for like ages because strangely my mum played them, but I
Oh.
tried to play them, but I didn't like it. It was like I was a kid and it was text based, and I was like, "Bleh, boring."
Where's the gameplay?
Yeah, and I couldn't figure out the whole actually reading and then having to point out contradictions. It just all went over my head.
Yeah,
But when I played them, it was definitely quite a few years ago now. I've been a fan for a while. But yeah, now they're like my favourite games.
yeah,
the-
I really enjoyed them when I
The
played.
trilogy, just in general, the HD trilogy is probably in my top 5 games.
It's really weird because I thought that Phoenix Wright was the name of the series.
Yeah, I think everyone does.
Yeah, they must do. And it was only when I learned, oh, it's Ace Attorney. Okay, because like obviously there's like Apollo and Edgeworth's games as well.
Yeah.
I guess I got the intro wrong to this podcast then.
Uh-oh.
But no, I agree that Capcom's make a comeback. It's really weird as well because like they got all their stuff leaked, didn't they? Like at the start of the year.
Oh yeah.
And I think there was a Street Fighter in that leak.
Was there?
I think
Was
so,
that-
or at least something.
Was that not the Championship edition or whatever came out?
Nah, that was ages ago. That was
Oh
like,
right, okay.
That was like
Yeah,
3
I
years
think
ago.
Street Fighter 6 has been teased for a while. Everyone knows it's coming. Of course it's coming. They're going to do it eventually.
Man, that's fucking. I mean, if DMC's good now, Resident Evil's good now, Monster Hunter's good. I mean, Monster Hunter never had a dip like those franchises did. But goddamn, man, I was playing Street Fighter 4 the other day. I don't know, me and Tim have been meaning to play it for about 2 weeks now. It feels like, but. And I was like, should we play Street Fighter? I was like, yeah. I was like, should we play 5? No, let's play 4.
Straight
And I was
four, yeah.
And I jumped into it the other day, and I was like, for some reason, I was like, I'm going to go online. And I played this guy, and I didn't get around on him. Literally, like, he just beat me, but I was like, oh, hell yeah, this game's sick. And, like,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but it's just like, it's just such a, like, it's like Halo. It's like, you know, there's no gimmicks, there's no nonsense. It's just straight up, just like, you know.
You know what it is.
Yeah, just
It's
fighting
just
people.
fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, watch out for the, you know, the burst, or watch out for the rage arts, watch out for the, you know, it's
Yeah.
just like, you
A
punch
very
the other guy.
specific thing, yeah.
Yeah. And,
I was thinking.
Oh, sorry. You were thinking?
That's what I look.
I didn't
No,
know
no,
that.
no, sorry,
I
sorry.
didn't know you could do that. I was gonna bring us on to our next section. Maybe it's a reoccurring section, but it's gonna be a pretty shit one this month because I was gonna ask you, did you play any games that came out in April? But looking at the lineup, there's not much out.
Right, hang on.
What?
Let me get the list up again.
Yeah.
I mean, but not. You don't have to look at the list and go, maybe I might want to play that. But did you buy any games?
I can't remember if I bought any or played any this month. I got to check.
Well,
The only one. Oh, sorry, Luke. Carry on.
I was just gonna start off by saying I played Outriders and it's a looter shooter, and that's all I have to say about that. I'm not gonna go back
yeah.
to it.
I don't think I've played anything that came out this month, but I did want to get the Shantae re-release on the Switch.
Right.
Yeah, because like all of her games are on the Switch now, and the only ones I'm missing is the newest one, the Seven Sirens one. And I was like, I'll get it just to sort of have the whole thing on one system, which is nice. And apparently they've added some cool things where, like, apparently if you played the original cartridge on the Game Boy Advance, it had like loads of enhancements, and they've actually put that into this port of the game, which is cool. I like stuff like that, like a little package of multiple games.
I've replayed Dragon Age Origins in April.
Oh,
It's many years old, and it doesn't run that well on PC anymore. It's getting to that age now where PC games, when they hit a certain age, they just stop running on modern operating systems.
There's gonna
It's
be a
starting to reach
point.
that point.
There's gonna be a point where they make like an emulator for Windows 7 or something to play old
Yeah,
Yeah.
PC games. That it's like Dragon Age. I wouldn't consider it's old, but I wouldn't consider it needing an emulator. 'Cause I
Yeah,
have it.
it's-
I could load it up.
It's fine, except for it just has a lot of graphical bugs.
I think
That's pretty much it at the moment.
it's from that time where like PC gaming for some reason like console gaming was just way more popular, so the games were optimized for consoles for the 360 and PS3.
Yeah.
And now like fucking whatever, just chuck whatever on PC because it doesn't matter. And then there was like a really big push against that, and now we're sort of in that sort of post era, I guess.
You guys, I was just say you guys saying that has reminded me slightly off topic, but has anyone heard about the I think there's a couple of the Pokemon 3DS games who actually like started dying, like the cartridges, like the cartridges have started dying, so like they won't load up or anything like that
On 3DS.
On 3DS, yeah. Specifically, it was the Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire games. It's really odd because obviously like the DS games and Game Boy Advance games you can still play, but the 3DS games are just dying out for some reason. And apparently it has something to do with Nintendo's like flash memory or the memory that's how the game is stored. But like they were saying, apparently after the DS they switched it so before it would last from like 30 to 50 years, whereas now on the 3DS cartridges it would last from 5 to 15.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, that's actually not that long. So
Well,
yeah, it's pretty scary.
Buy the remakes they make in 15 years.
There you go. That's probably why, to be honest. Yeah.
I mean, luckily you can emulate 3DS games fairly easily because Nintendo, for some reason, hates emulation, but also makes it really easy for all of their consoles.
I'll tell you what's really odd that like like for some like I remember when Smash Ultimate came out and like 2 weeks before it came out, the whole game got leaked online, so you could just play it on your PC. I was like, so you don't even need emulation now. You can just like straight up play brand new games that come out.
I think there is a Switch emulator that was for, but there was a Switch emulator the day the Switch came out. Pretty much,
it's outdated tech already.
Wasn't it just like
so.
some Mexican shop just like oh, we have Ultimate, and then some guy just bought it and did that?
Yeah, it just dumped the ROM online. Yeah,
it's crazy. Just like how like probably some random guy just like got a job in some GameStop was like put some games out.
You made one mistake.
Yeah.
I've heard that happens a lot with not like GameSpot, but any like just independent stores where they'll get a game in. Like if it's just like some guy running it, he's not gonna know what game's coming out. He'll just put it out.
We used to have a game shop in Basingstoke, and it went out of business. And I went and worked for a different game shop there, and I asked them why did they go out of business, and they said, oh, because when GTA 4 came out, they sold loads of copies early, and they got done.
Oh wow.
And that they had to close the shop because I think they got a lawsuit or something.
Wow.
I got
but
two
GTA
stories
4,
about this.
Wasn't the best game to do that on.
No.
The first story I had was when Halo Reach was coming out. That me, Luke, Denzel, and we didn't know Tim at the time, but Tim was probably excited about it. I know you were as well, Ben. Very excited for Halo Reach.
Oh yeah,
I was excited. Halo Reach. I got on day of release.
So, I didn't get it on day of release because I pre-ordered it from Amazon and I got it like 5 days early or something ridiculous.
What the fuck?
I got it like super early for something. And I ordered it from Amazon and I was just like... I remember I was on the bus home and my mum messaged me and said, oh, that game you wanted arrived. Pretty nonchalantly. And I was like, I was about 2 minutes away from my house. And that was the longest 2 minutes of my life. I was like, literally sitting on the bus like... and I remember I came on... There it was, Halo Reach, and I was like, and like, so obviously trying my Xbox, and I joined a party with, I think probably Denzel and Luke, and I said, guys, I've got Halo Reach, and I remember Denzel, he went, oh yeah, Luke's already tried to do this joke, Joe, come on now, and I was like, look at my account, and it was playing Halo Reach, and
Did he go?
I was really annoyed.
Yeah, they were fuming, and they both left the because I was like, oh, the menu's cool, and Denzel said, don't spoil the game, and I was just from the menu, shut up. The same as the beta. And like,
it's the fucking menu.
So, anyway, I played through it, and I was getting like a bunch, I was like a celebrity for a day, I was getting all these messages and stuff. And
that's what game hype used to be.
Yeah.
It used to like literally kill you those few days before release.
Yeah.
Now there'll be a game I want, but I won't get it until like months after release because I just can't be bothered.
The other story,
that's the same with Resident Evil. I don't want to pay 50 quid or whatever it is. I'd rather wait for it to go on sale.
What was you say, Joe?
The other side of the story is when I worked at Game, I almost leaked FIFA like super early. Because because I don't know what I'm saying.
Like what? Not the worst game to leak early.
Well, it was the new FIFA. It was the new FIFA, whatever year it was, for like 16 or something. and I basically the bit I worked in was there was this big chute, right? You put things on the chute, and it spun around and it scanned the items that were on this big massive thing, and then it knew what store to send it to, if that makes sense. I know I'm not explaining it very well. It's a big conveyor belt kind of thing.
All right.
And so the way the job worked was there was 4 people putting things on this chute, right? Like controllers, games, all sorts of things. And it would go through this big conveyor belt and then push them down into these boxes. And then people would then find a full box, tape it up, and send it off. That would go downstairs and then be sent off to wherever, right? And what I did was, this guy came up to me and he said, look, this is FIFA, the old FIFA. This was FIFA 14. And this is FIFA 15, this is FIFA 16. So the new one's here, the old one's here. And he goes, the game comes out in like 2 days, but these games can't go out today. They're to go out tomorrow, because I was working at like 10 o'clock, so they were there ready for the next day.
Is this for delivery, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
Right.
He goes, so whatever you do, don't go anywhere near these boxes and open them. Right? I was like, okay, cool. And so I'm putting out the old FIFAs. It's just, and because it's a really boring job, I'm like, just like nonchalantly doing it. Yeah, and then for some reason, like one of the boxes was on the wrong pile, and I opened it and I was putting it through, and it wasn't until I looked at it, I was like, oh, the box is different. Oh my god, like it's the new FIFA games. So I had to like run from where I was down to with this massive conveyor belt, and like then I was like, what shops are they going to, right? Because the machine's just gonna kind of like evenly distribute them, I guess. So I was like, look, and also there's people working there, and they're like, what's wrong? And I was like, don't worry, I'm just checking something, because I didn't want to let them know that I just like cocked up so bad.
Can I just say quickly that have you all seen Monsters Inc?
Of course.
So you know the scene where the trash chute, the garbage chute, and he's like looking at it all get crushed up, and he's at the screen just like, that's what I imagine Joe doing.
I managed to get them all, and then like I came back to the box, and I was like, it was like 5. I was like, okay, that's definitely the amount. I was like, oh, thank God I've saved the day, sort of thing. And I was like, I wonder if that's how I got my Halo Reach. Just like some guy, just like probably sent out Halo Freeze, and he was like, oh, it's Halo, it's whatever, fuck it.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. I will admit,
sorry,
like,
I'm done now. You're free from Joe.
I was going to say, actually, because you saying that about Halo Reach, getting Halo Reach really early from Amazon, I used to absolutely love Amazon for games, because they would always come at, like, maybe a day or 2 before, if not on the day, and it was great price, everything. And then it must have been about, I think they got done for a big game. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I think it was around 2013, I think it was, that they started getting really, really crap with games, because like I would order one and they would like games come out on a Friday, it would, for some reason it would skip the weekend, like wouldn't even bother turning up on Saturday. It would completely skip the weekend and always come on Monday. And I was like, fuck this, like I want the game the day it comes out. So I think like since 2013 I've like not ordered any games from Amazon. Not if I want them when they first come out, at least, anyway.
What's that bootleg website like Shop 2 or something that like they will send games early? I remember you like order Smash Ultimate from it and you get it early.
That was Simply Games, yeah. Yeah,
I think,
did we get 2 days early? Or was it a day early?
I think it was a day, I think.
Yeah, I remember we got a day early, and it's like Simply Games, the Game Collection, Shop 2, and Base. Like I always check those for, because like those ones are like, oh, it's really weird, because I feel like they're like those like off-brand like corner shops or what have you, and they'll come into like the Tesco supermarket and buy up all the newspapers so they can sell them at their store. I feel like that's what Game Collection do, or what have you. Like they'll go into Game, buy all their stock.
Sorry, hang on, rewind just a little bit. What do you mean? The corner shops go into like Tesco's and buy all the newspapers?
Yeah, that's what happened with us. Yeah, they'll be like, a man will come in and buy all the newspapers so then he can sell them at his shop.
You're not buying them wholesale. He's buying them from Tesco.
Like it got. That's what I mean. Like they don't go through like the actual suppliers or what have you.
Oh,
they just
right.
go. It's like really sneaky. But I reckon that's what like these other websites do. They're just sneak into Game and buy all the stock.
When I worked in a corner shop, we got the papers delivered to us, and then any we didn't sell, we like sent back.
Oh right, no, this guy, because I had to tell him, I was like, you can't buy like 40 fucking papers, man.
He must have been slamming through them. We'd have so many papers left at the end of the day.
Yeah, we did as well. We did.
And he's buying it at your price, the marked up price, as opposed to what the price would be if he just bought them in bulk.
This guy's a
This is
fucking
what I was
idiot.
thinking. I was like, surely he knocked them down as well, so he's not making any profit.
That's funny. I just can't. You go buy paper Tesco. Some fucking guy just bought them all. Oh, where's he gone?
Oh, Ben's gone.
He's gone to the paper supplier.
I'm back.
The paper union's after him.
How long was I gone just then? By the way, did I?
Only like a second or so.
Okay, right, because like it all started like my screen started going all green and shit, and I was like, I'm gonna have a seizure. What the fuck? And then it just went, and I was about to go. I think I might. And then I went off, but it's fine.
Well, if we go back to the games out in April, did anyone play Pokemon Snap? That was a Nintendo game.
I want to, but I can't justify the price.
I want to get it. I'll probably, you know, when I get paid this week, I'll probably just get it and see what it's like. I said to you, Tim, before the show that it's one of those games that like it looks like it could be quite fun, but it's just taking pictures. Like
I really liked the first Pokemon Snap, so I think I'll like it. And all the reviews say that it's really good for what it is, and that's brilliant. That's all I want. But Nintendo doesn't know how to release games at a budget price. Like it's clearly not. It's not on the level of Breath of the Wild or Mario Odyssey, clearly. So why are they selling it at that price?
But they'll price it the same. Yeah. I to be honest, as well, I don't think I would normally be interested in it because Pokemon's a series that like for quite a few years I was just sort of like, you know, I'll get it if it comes out, but I don't think I'm too fussed about it. But then, like I think I said before on another podcast that the beginning of this year, me and my friends started playing through all the Pokemon games again. So I'm in like a bit of a Pokemon mood at the moment. So I might pick it up. They've caught me at the right time.
Another game that came out last month was Nier Replicant. Is anyone a Nier fan?
No.
I have heard very good things about Automata. I won't mind playing it. It's just not on a system that I own or play really. So.
Did you hear about one of the achievements in the new Nier?
I was going to say this, yeah. Yeah, I've heard about it.
So, if you haven't heard about it, there's an achievement for looking up a character's skirt for like 5 minutes, or isn't it? Wait, do you know the exact time? I'm not sure.
I don't know the exact time, but
yeah,
it's like you've got to keep doing it. You've got to keep doing it.
For a long period of time, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
We don't need to reward this sort of behaviour.
It's like a mark of shame rather than an achievement. You have to be a completionist, because then you can make the excuse, I was just doing it to get all the achievements.
Yeah.
If you don't have all the achievements, that just means you're not a completionist and you just did it. So
I wonder how many little achievements you can... how many achievements you can do up until the point where you can do that achievement. I wonder if that could be the only achievement you can get in that game, and then you're like, oh, I'm done.
I'm sure it'll have one of those press start when the game loads up achievements.
That's so stupid. Oh, well done, you did that. You achieved that.
You loaded up the game. Well done.
But
they had a similar one as well in Automata. Like if you looked up, is it 2B? I think her skirt. Like you got an achievement for that as well. I think it's like a traditional thing.
But speaking of news, what do you guys think of the Apple versus Epic Games trial?
Let's go Apple! Let's go Apple!
I was listening to the audio from it. For some reason, they all have the shittest mics in the world. They're all on Xbox Live in fucking 2007. That's how they're performing it.
They're doing a Modern Warfare 2 lobby.
And of course, it's a law trial, so everything's drawn out, and they're going to ask silly questions because they need to establish certain basic truths. But it is so funny to listen to because it's just when the guy goes, so. What is an Xbox? Okay.
What's the answer?
He went. I think the representative from Microsoft. I think they're all chipping in. I don't know.
Yeah,
if
this is
they're
what I
chipping
mean.
in for Apple or Epic, but the representative from Microsoft was like, it's a games console. You can play games on it. So what kind of games can you play? It's like it's got Halo. It's like. Okay.
I think
Anymore?
No. What they're trying to do is for Epic. So what Apple want to do is they want to increase their cut of the profits that Fortnite makes or any Epic thing it makes to be more in line with the same as what Xbox and PS4 do. But the argument for it is that Xbox and Sony have come in and said at least Xbox have, they sell the consoles at a loss. Because that was one of the big news stories.
They do sell consoles at a loss, yeah.
Yeah, and they make their money on the software and the like microtransactions and shit.
Yeah.
And I think their point they were making was Apple don't sell their phones at a loss. They make their profit on their phones and their phone bills and also like phone games and stuff. So to ask for the same sort of cut as Xbox in their eyes is unreasonable. And that's why they had the Xbox guy in, and they were like, "What is Xbox?" Because also probably because the fucking judge didn't know what it was.
Because because the further questions where does the Xbox have a screen? No. Does the Xbox can you control the Xbox on its own without any peripherals? No. Can you control the Xbox without it being plugged in? No. It's basically saying it's not a smartphone.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just realised that some people might not know what this is about. So, Epic Games wants to not get Apple's... Wait, what is it? They want you to be able to pay for microtransactions on their format, which means that they get more profit. But
through the Fortnite app without the Apple cut.
And then they reduced the price for the V-Bucks because Apple isn't going to take a cut from that. And so people would only buy it off their side and not buy it through Apple. And then Apple was like, you can't do that on our store. And then they said, well, we can. Let's go to court. So that's the background for it.
Well, was it Apple, like, when this first kicked off and they were like, right, we don't want to... Because they did find a way, I'm pretty sure, where they managed to redirect people to Epic's own payment system. So, like, they got all the profit from it instead of Apple taking, like, 30% or whatever it was.
I thought it was an option. Like, you could pick do it via Apple, do it via Epic, and it was like, Epic, you pay less, so I'll do it.
Yeah, sorry, it must have been that then. But Apple obviously was like, you can't do that on our store, and then they took Fortnite off the store, and then that's when Epic was like, they released that stupid video of
the call to action.
That was it, calling all gamers to action, and then but like they framed it as like, because did Epic. Did they? Oh no, it was Apple. Apple was then like thinking about, right, we're gonna get rid of anything that has the Unreal Engine. So like Epic will get no profit at all, or would earn any money from an Apple device. But then the court said something like, too many games use Unreal Engine on phones, so it wouldn't be like in anyone's best interest to do that. And then it's got really weird since then, because like I know Xbox and Sony have come in to say stuff that's relevant to the case, but then you got stuff like files are becoming really public. Like apparently a Xbox internal review of The Last of Us 2 came out recently, and it was like, what the fuck does that have to do with the case? It's just really weird.
Yeah, there's all kinds of weird stuff. At one point, they were bringing up Itch.io, which is an indie game. It's like the very smallest games, like Flash games, basically. Host them, and I think it's done by Epic. I think it's all done on their service.
Yeah.
And Apple was arguing that because Itch.io has pornographic material on it, because it's got like adult games, that they have a right to get rid of anything Epic on their service, because you can go to an Epic thing, get to Itch.io, and then get all the impure, naughty things through Itch.io. It's so strange.
Yeah,
it's so strange.
From what I've seen as well, you might be more clued up on it, Tim, than me, to be honest, because you've listened to the audio. But from what I've heard, apparently, like Epic went in thinking this was like a surefire win, because like they're just cocky as fuck, like since Fortnite.
Yeah.
But apparently, Apple have like come back and sort of they've sort of made them hypocrites in a sense.
Because it's because they take a cut on their own store. For one. It's a smaller cut than the competition, but they still take a cut. And also, like, if publishers can just say we're not giving anything to our hardware distributors, then I suppose they don't have to give anything to Microsoft. They don't have to give anything to Sony. So why would you? If you can just, if Epic can just say, we're selling your games, our games on your console when you're not getting a portion.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
I don't know. The whole thing's just so like interesting from a sense of like everything that comes out of it. Because I think another thing that come out was it showed you all the games that Epic had paid to get exclusive. I think on the Epic Store, and like how much they paid for it. And it was like we should be seeing all this
It's
insider
just,
information.
and you kind of have to do like loops of logic to even figure out the relevance.
Yeah.
Like, you can kind of guess at the relevance for some of this information, but other times you have to go, well, I guess it somehow links back to Apple in this way.
So
I think a big thing that come out of it was the crossplay thing. Like, I think because of this, it's come out that Sony was. I mean, we knew that anyway, but like, it's officially that Sony was super against crossplay.
Yeah.
From the beginning. I mean, they're still like it now, but they really do not like it.
So what do you think if Epic Games won this court case? Do you think that there would be a big outcome going forward? Do you think that the game industry would change?
What about their thinking? If we win, we
Well,
win
I
for
mean-
all gamers.
Because there was another news article I read the other day. I don't know if it was recently. But Overgrowth, you know the Wolfire Games. They made a game called Overgrowth. It's about bunnies fighting each other.
Oh yeah.
They're now suing or doing a lawsuit with Steam or Valve, in fact.
Oh,
Because they because Steam takes a 30% profit on any Steam game. They went and thought, oh, what we'll do is we'll put our game on other platforms because they only put it on Steam and I think on their website. We'll put it on Epic Games or wherever they wanted to, and we'll reduce the price of the game so that it gives the cut of the Epic Games, for example, but then the amount that they would have given Steam would be a reduction of what the game would cost.
Giving the
So it'd
savings
be
back to
cheaper
you, the consumer.
Yeah, all the consumers would have a cheaper game. And so they contacted Valve to talk to them about it, and they said, no, you can't do that, and if you do that, we'll take your game off Steam. And so now they've gone and done a lawsuit with them. So it's very similar to it's slightly similar to the Epic Games case.
yeah.
But
It seems to be that 30% cut that a lot of developers are starting to think this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because I know Microsoft come out recently, and I think they announced, it might have been Microsoft that they announced that they're reducing the cut they're taking from 30% to 10%. I think.
Yeah, I've heard a few publishers are reducing their cut now.
Yeah, because they must have just got scared by this whole thing. Because it's like, oh shit, like the
Epic
the
Games have
gamers,
been-
they're rising up.
Epic Games were quite good for it when they announced that you can develop a game on Unreal, and the first $1 million you will get as profit, and after that, then you give us a cut of whatever the cut is.
That's good.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, don't quote me on that, but I think it was $1 million that you had to
Yeah.
make before you give them a cut going forward.
I
Which
think
is
one of the
Great.
sorry, Luke. Sorry.
No, that's it. Yeah.
I was just gonna say that I think one of the best things that I've seen come out of it is how unbelievably cocky what's his name, the CEO of Epic.
Tim Sweeney.
Yeah.
That's him, and he was pretty much just saying like Sony need to do what they say because they've got Fortnite and we're fucking Fortnite. We've got all the money. Like, if you want people to play your fucking console, you'll have Fortnite on it and you'll do what we say.
Cocky is the word when you look at Epic Games, I think, with the whole call to action thing, which
Oh, it's ridiculous.
It's annoying because I can kind of like, they do good stuff, like the whole Epic Games store with their small cut and you keep a certain amount of money.
That is
That's all good, but they're just so pretentious, and I think they're pushing it too far.
It was definitely after Fortnite came out, I think. But like, I think that was something that might have been brought up as well, is because I think for any game that uses the Unreal Engine, they take a cut for that because obviously it's their engine. And I think Apple brought that up in the court case to like sort of make the hypocrisy argument or what have you.
yeah.
But it's an interesting one.
It is. Is there anything lighter in the news that everyone's been reading?
Look, gaming news.
Any news if you want to talk
Gaming.
about people stealing newspapers if you want.
Wendy's coming to the UK.
Wendy's?
Square
Oh,
Burgers.
We talked about it before, didn't we? The
Are
fucking
we going to
Square
get the Twitter
Burgers.
account as well talking about it?
Yeah.
Oh god. No, I've never because I was saying to you, Tim. Apparently like they turned. There was here 20 years ago. Wendy's were. I think I must have been like super young now because
I think it was
6
like
years
they
old.
said like they I'm not sure if they opened or if they failed in 2001, but
yeah
around then they were about and it didn't work out.
What they need to do is they need to do what the McDonald's did back in the day and just have game consoles in there ready for us to play.
Yeah, they need to have
Bit of
little
GameCube.
Sonic the Hedgehog, little like Game & Watch games.
Exactly.
Model it
We
after Shadow, and then you got it.
You need a GameCube stand with 2 controllers, bit of melee there. There's like, I think we might have talked about this before, but like apparently there's still a McDonald's out there that has that, like a GameCube in the corner of the store for people to play. Yeah.
I've heard about that. It might be a myth. I can't imagine such a thing.
Yeah. Did any of you guys like do you guys remember the Wacky Warehouse?
No.
Wacky Warehouse.
I don't know. That might have been a northern thing. It was like a ball pit that kids could play in and stuff like that. But
They had. I remember McDonald's used to have a lot more play areas. I
yeah,
remember that.
It was like a play area that would be on sort of attached to like a restaurant or what have you. Usually a pub, if I'm being honest. But then they'd have the ball pit, and then like out away from the ball pit, they'd have like all these PS1s set up on these stands or what have you, and you could play loads of games on it. Like, that's how I played a shitload of licensed games like Monsters Inc. and Hercules. I think I first played Crash Bandicoot in there as well, but it was one of those I was like, Mom, I want my PlayStation. She'd be like, right, come on, we're off now.
No, we have
If I
to
love
go
anymore.
to the. If you want to play these games, you have to go to the Wacky Warehouse.
Yeah, honestly, that got to a point where I was like more excited for that than the. They should have set up like an arcade machine, so you had to put money in to play it.
Yeah.
They missed out.
Oh, that'd be sick if all the Wendy's had arcades. That'd be
Yes.
like the best place to go.
That,
It'd be a gamer's dream.
for the gamers.
They could say it's a square burger because it's squared like a
Like
pixel.
Steve.
Like getting like Minecraft Steve. You can have a Minecraft Steve burger.
I will say, I know we already talked about this in a few podcasts ago about like ordinary folk calling you the gamer and what have you. And I started my new job this week, and my boss was talking to me because on my CV I've put down that I played Smash and I was a decent player at it and went to all these tournaments.
What the fuck? Why'd you put that?
Because it's like in like your hobbies bit.
Oh right.
It's like but
No,
I'm not even joking.
The first part of the CV, it was I play Smash.
Achievements, and it's like 7th place.
The first, the first part of my CV is my name, and then underneath it, it just says "Pick me."
Did you put the Shrek Super Slam player as well in there? The 99.
I did
link to it.
I didn't, but I should. I should put it in there. Yeah. But I'm not even joking. Like the past 5 interviews I had before I got this job, what have you? Every single one always asked me about the gaming. There was always like, what's the tournaments you go to then? Like, what's all that about? And like, they're really interested in it. It's really odd because you wouldn't think that was something that you should put down. But he was asking me about it, and he was saying like, he sort of because he went, "You're a bit of a gamer, aren't you?" Yeah, because from my CV, and it immediately brought it back to our conversation about it. But he was really interested though. He did say because he went, "Oh, I just play FIFA," and I like really dejected about it, and I was like, "FIFA's all right, mate. FIFA's all right."
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it. You kick the ball
No,
about.
nothing at all.
Tell him how
'Cause
good
I've
FIFA
got
13
a
for
mate.
Wii U is.
I could tell him that I've got a mate that can get in the next one early. Just
Have we talked about our rivalry with the? So just to explain to the people at home, there's our group, which is the Basingstoke group, and I guess you're part of the Basingstoke group as well, Ben, even though you don't live there.
yeah. Don't make me a frim.
And then there's the Taz's friends are the Frims. They all live in a place called Frimley, or around the area. And they all play Smite, and we mostly play fighting games, bit of Guilty Gear, bit of Smash, that kind of thing, which is actually untrue, like, because Luke and Denzel just don't really do that, but whatever. So we've decided the best way to settle things is to have Marcus, who's our Guilty Gear player, play against a guy called Henry, who's just some guy who plays Smite in their group, and to have them playing FIFA, because it will be common ground. No one will have an advantage. And we brought it up to them yesterday, because they were both in a voice chat. And Marcus was like, he was like, yeah, let's do it. No, he wasn't like that. He was like, yeah, I'll do it. Why not? If the opportunity arises. But Henry was like, not playing FIFA. I will never play FIFA.
Don't play FIFA.
Yeah, I was like, we gotta get this to happen. And then they're like, why do you want these two to play FIFA? And I explained the stakes sort of thing. It's Basingstoke versus Shrimp, Guilty Gear versus Smite. And then I'm like, yeah, this needs to happen. And so
Is there a date? Is there a date?
I know, it's up in, we'll figure it out. Past COVID, we don't want anyone to get diseased or anything, so, like, we'll,
we need a proper...
It's a good point, FIFA 13 for the Wii U.
Yeah.
Yes! I've got that. I can be the supplier.
2 copies online, maybe. Won't even
I
need
got
to
the other one.
So next time you come down, Ben, or when you can, We'll set the match there.
Yes. Oh my god,
The
please.
two guys
Yes.
who like barely know each other are gonna play the FIFA.
It's like, right, guys, I want a nice clean game.
Does the Wii U version have online?
It does, but it's fucking terrible.
Is it-
Like,
is it-
I'll
is
tell you
Wii
what we can
Online
do
still
is
on?
we can set them up on it, and what we can have one at the other end of the room, and then we can have one with the gamepad at the other end of the room.
Oh,
So
okay,
one's playing
okay.
on the fucking gamepad. So there you go.
You both need the gamepad though, because then that's how you can micromanage your players. You can control each
Oh,
of them
you're
with a
right.
gamepad.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's more
Well,
complicated than we
both
thought.
of them have to touch the screen at the same time. They have to hold it like in tandem.
They'd need two consoles with two gamepads.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Can you
Infinite
connect
Nintendo
two? Can you
never
connect
did.
two gamepads to one Wii U?
No.
No.
Nintendo's
They-
stupid.
It's such a
They-
shit
they-
console, honestly. Like,
It was a pretty bad console. Yeah. They did actually say, like, I think it was when Nintendo Land was first shown, and that people were like, "Why don't you have two Wii U gamepads for this? Because you can have like a more variety of ways you can play it." Then, and Nintendo was like, "That's a good idea. We'll look into that," and then never spoke of it again.
classic
Yeah.
Nintendo.
They didn't even sell replacement gamepads, even if you just had the one.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, you can't just buy a gamepad on its own. It's ridiculous.
Good console.
I think-
Good console.
It would have cost like it must have cost like maybe over £100 though. For one gamepad.
Even if it costs like £100, at least it's an option. You can buy it.
Yeah, but mind you, they pretty much sell the Joy-Cons for that now, and people buy them. So
Yeah. And they're broken when you get them.
I know, yeah, straight out of the box.
But the bad thing is you think that they're learning, like, oh, Wii U, bad, and then the Switch is like, oh, this is everything that we were trying to do with the Wii U, but now it's
Yeah,
proper. But then you realise that they haven't learned, that it's all a tactic to try and make more money. It's like, oh, we won't do this because we'll make more money selling more Wii U's instead of just gamepads on its own. And it's all just a trick. They're not a family-friendly game company in the first place.
I was saying this the other day, but it sucks when companies are doing well, and you think, oh no, but company that I like, if they're doing well, that's a good thing because it means that they're not going to go under or what have you. But like for the consumer, it can be pretty bad because I was speaking about this the other day, but Nintendo obviously were doing awful with the Wii U. It was not going well at all. But there was still a point where I think they released Mario Kart 8, and they had the promotion where if you bought Mario Kart 8 in any capacity, you could then download a free digital game, like a full digital game. Like I think I got Wind Waker HD from it, and that was just like an incentive to buy the console and the game. And I was like, that's cool. They've had nothing like that. In fact, like Tim said, they're selling Pokemon Snap for fucking £50. Like just because they can, because they're making money, so it doesn't matter.
The Switch is, I think it's gone over 80 million sold now.
It has. I think it's at 84 last I saw it. Because our resident friend Tom always gives us the sales details because he's a fucking mad one.
Resident friend. Sometimes
friend.
he's a friend, in
Sometimes
the
a friend.
residency.
What the thing is,
He's an enigma.
The milestones that the Switch hits, it's like which other Nintendo console did it beat? Because if it's at 84 million, what is it? I think it's probably beating the Super Nintendo. I don't know if it's beating the NES.
The last one, it was.
The Vita.
It's definitely better than the Vita. Yeah, that was a big news story actually. I don't take a left turn, but obviously, I don't know if you guys will care because I don't know if you're maybe Tim, but
No, I do care
about the physical and digital split. But yeah, the store's going down was a bit. I mean, the PS3 store still is going down, unfortunately.
Is it?
Yeah, they oh no, not PS3. Sorry, PSP. That's what I meant.
Yeah, PSP store is going down, but PS Vita and PS3 are staying out. I heard a thing online where someone had went and bought loads of Vita memory cards, which are really expensive, so that he could then download his games and be ready. And then they stopped the fact that it was going to go down. And now he's wasted loads of money.
That was the shittest thing about the Vita was the proprietary memory cards.
Yeah, Sony always does that shit.
It's so fucking terrible.
I was quite disappointed because I'm still quite disappointed, I suppose, but I recently got a PSP like a year or two ago. No, it was last year. It was just before COVID actually. And when I heard this was going on, I was like, right, I'm finally actually going to turn on my PSP and see if there's any games that I can just download before it goes down. And then I realised, oh wait, I don't have a charger for the thing, so it's dead. So I better find one before it goes down. It's a race against time.
I had to buy a strangely, I found my old PSP like a few months ago, I found the charger. That wasn't the problem. The problem was, I was like, why isn't it turning on? Then I saw the battery was bulging out the back.
Oh shit!
It was just like close to exploding. I left the battery in when I shouldn't have, clearly. But then I got a replacement battery, and the replacement battery is a extra capacity one, which sounds great, but that means it's too big and you can't put the back cover back on.
I was gonna say,
That's
like,
cool.
surely, like, if it's extra capacity, that's gonna be bulging out as well.
Yeah, it is. I thought it'd be like modern battery technology is making it better capacity, but no, it just doesn't fit.
Yeah. It's a shame, really, because I really do wish I probably played my PSP as soon as I got it, because I really wanted to get Final Fantasy VII and Crisis Core for it, which I can still get physically, I suppose, but I think it was you, Joe, who just said, just pirate it. Like, it's the easiest console to hack
emulate
in the world. So
Maybe
maybe I should just do
the
that.
3DS or DS might be a close second. PSP.
I remember playing PSP online with someone else with another two PSP emulators, me playing one and my friend playing one, and we did Monster Hunter on that. That was really fun.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and we did Final Fantasy, the one with the weird name where it's Final Fantasy characters fighting in a 3D space.
Oh,
Dissidia.
Disgaea, yeah.
One of those ones. Someone, no, I'll mention it briefly. Someone made a mod that makes it into a Kingdom Hearts game instead. Placed all the models in the areas with Kingdom Hearts stuff, and so you can fight. It looked really
I bet
fun.
you love
to play
that. Right, actually, I've got a question for you, Luke, because Kingdom Hearts was obviously supposed to be a Final Fantasy. Well, it was supposed to be. It's a Final Fantasy Disney crossover, isn't it? Like at heart. Like, what's happened? Like, there's no Final Fantasy anymore.
I don't know. It's not. I mean, 3 is just a mess. It's like it's trying to wrap up. What was it? 15 years of stories in one game.
Yeah.
It was just a complete and utter
Shitfest.
I was gonna do a video on it, but I can't. There's
I
so
know.
much stuff in that game that I can't combine it all. What I wanted to do is just a video where I talk about the music, because the music's really good. And then just not mention the game at all.
I thought you did do a video on the music.
That'd be a good shit post. I
did a little video on the introduction thing. I forgot what I talked about, but it was a while ago. But I was listening to some of the music at work yesterday or 2 days ago.
We'll look at the music.
It's great.
I'll be out with that. That's the only fucking thing I care about Kingdom Hearts is the music.
But what I love about the music is that it's the same as the story, where it's a combination of every single game. So each track has an element of a different game that represents what that track is trying to talk about. So if it's a theme for a character, it will go back to certain games that they're in and use their themes from there.
Like the motifs and stuff. Yeah,
the motifs. Yeah. It's
great.
When you fight, there's a point in which you fight 3 characters at once, and then it merges all of their songs together, and it's like, oh, this is epic.
There's a really old. This is a bit of a tangent, but you've got to be starting the music now. But me and Tim were looking at live performances of Guilty Gear and BlazBlue, and it reminded me of I can't find a video. I'm sure it's on YouTube somewhere. I didn't dig too deep, but JoJo's the anime.
Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When only the first 3 seasons were out, or there was 2 seasons, but one was split into 2, 2 eras, and it had a different theme song. So there was the first theme song, the second theme song, and then the third theme song has a new guy plus the old 2 coming in as well. And when they did it live, the first guy did his song, and that's my favorite one. It's really cool. Then the second guy came in, and it's more of a poppy, catchy song. And then the third one starts, and it's just the one guy performing. It's like, it's only the one guy that sucks. But then they're in this massive stadium, and when it gets to the other guy's parts, the light pans over, and he's actually on the other side of the stadium, and he's singing along. And then it pans to the other side, and there's the other guy, and they all come in the middle. And I was like, this is fucking sick.
That's ace, yeah.
But I'm never gonna see this because it's some fucking there's now 15 series of JoJo's, and it's gonna be musical performances in Japan only, probably.
Yeah.
And I also just don't really care about JoJo's that much to, I'd love that bit, and then I'd be like, all right, I can leave now.
I would have loved to have seen. I think we might have talked about it a while ago. Maybe not on here, but there was a lot of game companies now, they'll do like those symphonies, you know, like live symphony orchestra. And
Luke's been to one. Luke's been to Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, I've been to the Kingdom Hearts one.
It's one of those where I thought it sounds amazing, and I think it'll be a really cool thing to go to. But I don't know. I don't know if it'd be worth it.
They do the Zelda one in London quite often.
In London? Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, and they do a video game orchestra as well, just like a load of different games.
Mm.
I do want to go to the Zelda one, but the Kingdom Hearts one was quite cool because it was before 3 was out, and it didn't use any of the music for free. Yeah, it was before it got tainted with free.
Hang on, you like the music from free?
Yeah, no, I just mean that it was before free, and it didn't have any tracks from free, but it had rearrangements of the other tracks from the games, and I bought the CD, put it in my car.
I had Death Grips because when me and Luke saw Death Grips, Luke kind of
That still makes me laugh.
Yeah, and it was great. I loved it, and it was a bit chaotic, but you know, it's like something I can scratch off and say I've done. And I was going to go see him again. I booked the tickets, and I was like, yeah. I looked at the set list, and it was a bunch because the new album had obviously come out, and it was the tour for that album. There was so much in that new album, and I just didn't really like the new album at the time.
Yeah.
I was looking at the track list, and I was like, that song's a dud. That song's alright. That song's a dud. Then it'd be like Hacker from Money Store. I'm like, oh, yeah, and then it's like, okay, that's the like one of 2 Money Store songs, you know, yeah. And I was like, oh, you know, and I sometimes feel like that, like the same with that JoJo's thing. Not that JoJo's is ever gonna fucking tour the UK, I imagine. Maybe they will. I don't know. That's not saying never. The same with like Blaze Blue. Like we're looking at these concerts, and they're doing a lot of like the new arrangements of the songs. And I was just like, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've got to like. So if you ever want to see like a live band, like
definitely check what they're gonna do.
Well, yeah, but also like because we're gonna see me and Luke hopefully are gonna see Gorillaz in August, and I'm really looking forward to that because they're probably gonna play a ton from the new album, which I think is really good. So you know, but maybe if I saw them when they had. I'd probably still enjoy it if it was the Humans tour. You know what I mean. You got to pick your battles almost. I guess.
Yeah, I think to be honest, like at this point, like just in time, like I'd love to go like to one of those symphonies or what have you, or a concert or what have you, just with one like with a group of you guys, just to to get together.
I'd just like to do anything,
something.
please.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, let's just leave.
We saw again Run the Jewels actually. Me, Luke, and Denzel saw them, and it was when they did the third album, and the intro to that third album has like 4 songs in a row that like flow into each other really well, and it's like a really solid. And then when the show started, they just did those 4 songs in a row, and they're probably never going to do that again because you know, like the new album's out, they got to show the new songs, and you know, but
that was really good.
We saw Back to the Future as well. We saw the film. And the orchestra performed the music, and that was really good. And I had like,
the orchestra performed the music, and we saw the film in a projector behind them. It was so good.
It was, and we did that, and then immediately after it was Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, we went to see
and,
that.
It was completely overshadowed. I mean, Avengers Endgame was a good movie, but it just couldn't stack up to a live
just
orchestra.
That experience,
I'll say going the other way. I'm also sad that because I don't think they'll do shows like that anymore. But do you know like the Shrek musical and the Pokemon Live musical?
Oh yeah,
like all like the really 90s-esque early 2000s ones, and I'm thinking, I'd have loved to have been this age at that time, and like for us to all go because you know it'd be more feasible for us to all go. But
I'm pretty sure
I don't think that'll happen again.
The Shrek musical is still a thing.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure it is.
I think so. Musicals run for a very long time.
Okay, if the Shrek musical's still going and it looks as ugly as it
in London.
I'll go to.
I see.
I saw the Shrek maze in London. I didn't see the musical though.
There's all sorts of Shrek things in London that are just there with no explanation.
Shrek City.
Just sort of Shrek, like, oh, it's the Shrek adventure. It's like, is it what?
It was when we was at. I remember it was. Was it Albion? It was an Albion that I think it was Albion 2 that I went to. That was for anyone who doesn't know, it was a big European Smash tournament, and we were there. And on one of the days, it was like, okay, what we're gonna do on like this day before the tournament starts, or this day before, or after the tournament ends, or what have you. and we planned. We was like, we're going to the Shrek maze. We're going to get something sweet, and we're off to the Shrek maze. And we never did. I still need to go to the fucking Shrek maze.
We'll go.
Yes.
Once we can do anything, we'll do something.
Yeah, when
We'll go to the
COVID's over,
maze.
we're going to be seeing like music concerts, Zelda, Shrek.
I need it. Yeah. Well,
We'll
our
go
own
ice
set list.
skating. We'll go Fort Park. You know, all sorts.
And we want those eventually be like, why are we here? Because it's something to do.
Because we can. Yeah.
Yeah. Get those ice skates on.
Have you ever been ice skating?
No, I've never been. It'd be fun to learn, though,
Really?
especially if everyone else is falling
It's
on
pretty.
the
I
house.
remember I did it as a kid, and
I
it was
like
like
it.
they were like, "Oh, here's ice skating. You go on the ice, and it's pretty. I don't know. It's not like, you know, you're not going to be an expert, but it's pretty easy to kind of scoot about."
I've gone to see the hockey in Basingstoke because we've got our hockey team's quite good, but that's because we've recruited a load of Canadians to be in the team.
Oh,
so we
right,
always
yeah.
thrash the other
Is that
team.
the reason? Is that the reason why? How have we pulled that off?
I think they might have been from the UK as well. They're like,
Right.
from Canada and lived. I don't know, both.
Canada.
I reckon they just
Canadian.
came and fell in love with the town. They fell in love with the town and its people. And its...
Yeah.
They saw
the
the Wood
Basingstoke.
Street Willie, and they were like, "That is fucking
Basingstoke
classic."
Bisons represent. I'll buy the jersey next time I'm there. That's what I'm going to wear all the time.
I was gonna say about ice skating. I think one of the things that like put me off it, especially when like I was younger or whatever, was the fact that for some reason, and I'm like this with everything, is that like if there's something that could potentially be dangerous, I instantly think of like the worst thing that could happen. And like I'm thinking of like the blades on your shoe, and I'm like, what if I fall over and then someone can't stop themselves and they slice my neck off? Or I just keep thinking
there
More
about the
likely,
worst
they'll
thing.
just trip over you.
There's a
Is it
there's a
Final
movie-
Destination?
Well, I thought it was like a Ben Stiller movie where he like dances on the ice. Like it was like
Is it Blades of Glory?
Blades
that
of
it?
Glory, yeah, and he like cuts
Yeah.
someone's neck off or something like that.
Does he? I hadn't seen the
Yeah.
film.
Yeah, he like does a twirl and cuts. Well, I don't remember how it goes. It was not a very good film.
I mean, the
I was
ice,
gonna say it's definitely bargain bin.
the
At
blades
8.90.
aren't that sharp, and people don't go that fast to do
Like,
that.
slice it
Yeah,
off.
you know,
Yeah.
they'll just crash into you. You know, like, and then it's like, oh, we're both on the floor. But like that doesn't. I mean, it's never. I mean, we went a few times as a kid, and I don't remember because everyone sort of goes in the same loop, right? You're all going in the same direction. so
Yeah.
it doesn't-
I thought you were about to say I don't remember being
Well,
decapitated by.
Why were you? Why,
blades.
So you got a new head.
why are we discussing this as if? You know, we're all going to go ice skating. You know what I mean? Like,
I want to be up for it.
I mean,
I
I
think
said it as a
that's-
joke like 5 minutes ago, and now we're like, you know, we're jotting down the details. We're all looking at Amazon for the boots.
I think that's a good enough time to wrap up then, I guess. Just spouting loads of bullshit.
I think we peaked at the Shrek maze.
Yeah.
It was good.
Does any of you? So Tim, have you got anything going on? People can follow you anywhere or something.
There you can. Just don't bother.
Leave me alone.
I ain't got nothing.
Tell them to come to my channel, Tim. Tell them to come to my
Subscribe to Fat Ben V5. Check out the bully review. Check out the bully review.
Oh yeah, bully review. It's good.
All right, Ben. What's
It's
your
come out.
channel's name actually called?
It's Fullboy V5, and actually, I actually now have a means to record footage for my next video, live footage. So that video should be out pretty soon, I think.
You bought a camera?
You could say that, yeah.
Okay, I'm excited then. How about you, Joe?
Yep, it's called what's it called?
Super ACJ.
Yeah, ACJ, Super ACJ, something like that. Type in like Uncle Adam's ACJ should come up, or just Humble
I love
Beginners
like-
reviews.
He's
I will say
got a
that-
new
I love
Smite
that-
video.
It's like, right, plug yourself. It's like, just type in Uncle Adams. Just that's all
You
you
know,
need.
you know what annoys me about that? Sorry, I know we're wrapping up, but I'll just say this quick. I was making a funny meme earlier about Uncle Adams. Because he's just a fun guy to make memes about. I don't know what it is.
Go watch his video. Go watch Joe's Uncle
I
Adams
typed
video.
in Uncle Adam's Humble Beginning to get his album cover, and like on Google Images, the like sixth image was my fucking thumbnail, and I was trying to find a decent image of this album cover, and I was like, God's sake, I've ruined it myself. But yeah, you know, he's typing some words to probably come up, you know, that sort of thing.
Well, type in Uncle Adams Humble
Maybe,
Beginnings
yeah,
and click the sixth option. Yeah.
I will
See if
quickly
it
say
lets you
that Joe's had a really good string of videos recently. They're very good,
Yeah.
so definitely.
Really?
The Smite video's unlisted, but if you can somehow hack into the system and get it, that's
The
really
Death
good.
Grips video isn't that great, but the shit posts I feel like I've been like class. Anyway, sorry, Luke,
And,
what have you got to promote?
Well, you can find me Zogon2940 on Twitter, and there's a link to the YouTube there.
Zogon.
I'll leave you with this, and because I know everyone's excited about this, it's a game that's coming out next month. I know everyone's going to buy it. Days Gone is coming to PC, so I guess we can talk about that next time.
Yes. Oh,
And
that
of
shit.
course, all of us will play it, and that's what I'll leave you with.